Hey guys, Dave here from the Biracy Project. As some of you already know, doors are open on the Biracy Project, and there are members coming in daily now. We think that's great. We have whittled down the idea to a Vancouver-based science fiction project. So over the next couple of weeks, you'll be introducing the characters of this film, the guys behind it. And the first person I'd like to introduce you to is Jason Bourque, the director of the film.
Well, first off, thank you very much for bringing me on board. The idea that we're about to embark on the first film made by the fans is incredibly exciting, and I can't help but I just can't wait to hear from you guys out there and gals as we start this process. Science fiction is my favorite genre, and I think in some ways even this method seems almost kind of sci-fi-ish. Yeah. There's just a lot of power to the people in the community, and doing a movie with this method. So again, I think it's breaking new ground. It's extremely innovative, and thanks again for bringing me on board this project.
I mean, the crowd has already basically dictated in the early days. They've said that they don't want to be providing all the detail themselves. They want to be handed a couple of things here and there.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, the vision has to be maintained, so it's it's done within this format. But at the same time, suggestions it's still being molded somewhat. But just that overall vision definitely has to be maintained.
Right.
Yeah, and I think the key is ultimately entertainment. I know we're talking about having a social commentary, which is excellent for sci-fi, and is certainly going to allow that. But at the same time, we know we will have some action beats, and we will definitely want to show off, from like a CG standpoint and a stunt standpoint, and we need the eye candy. I suspect once we have that script, and once we have suggestions are in, and we created that log line, and then from that log line we've created that treatment, and when we start to really build off of that,
right? Yeah,
that's going to be exciting. When I think of some sci-fi themes, which are definitely worth exploring, I'm all into basically the survival of humanity, dealing with isolation because of technology. I think is certainly big. Holding on to our own identities, and that brings up a lot of privacy issues. Is certainly something that I think we're being hit with. And I think a lot of that needs to be explored.
What will the currency of the future be? Will currency on Earth be replaced by liters of water?
What subgenres?
The rock and roll apocalypse movie, which, by the way, Radioactive Dreams is my top with that. Ever see that?
No.
Oh, it's fun.
Weren't we just talking about that the other day? I didn't know that. Okay, I got to check that out, because I was actually thinking that would be a really funny thing, is if somebody comes out of a bomb shelter. But what I was thinking is, the bomb goes off in 1958 or whatever, and these people go underground for, say, 20 years, and they come out, it's 1978, but the United States is actually controlled by Chinese and Bulgarians.
Yeah, it's a great subgenre. Alternate history, I think, is huge. What would happen if Germany won? Another one, what happened if the South actually beat the North? And guess what? We still have slaves.
If we could remake Dune, we would.
Muad'Dib.
I am Paul Muad'Dib.
I will bend like a reed in the wind. Tell me of your home world, your soul.
Father, the sleeper has awakened.
It's the most quotable sci-fi movie ever.
Very well, you are Paul Muad'Dib.
And Gurney Halleck and Patrick Stewart.
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's funny, when I think of sci-fi, ultimately the best sci-fi, we have a lot of great movies. For me, it always comes back to literature. Because I grew up on sci-fi novels.
Yeah.
And that's where I think a lot of the best ideas actually come from.